Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Right, let's tackle the 3 T's, as in tango. Let's call them the 3 Musketeers, if you like. My name is Johan van Skalkwyk. I'm a development specialist. Anything to do with professionalism, I'm your go-to person. And not just for engineers, it's for other disciplines as well. So please feel free to contact me at any time if you need my assistance or my help. Right, back to the point. Let's talk about the 3 T's, the 3 Musketeers, the training and experience outline, number 1. Number 2, the training and experience report. And thirdly, the training and experience summary. Let's first handle the training and experience outline. This document, not all candidates need to complete this document. This document is specifically designed for the, shall we call them, mature candidates, the ones who's got 10 or more years of experience. But why would this document exist? Well, it's simple. You've only got 2,000 words. I dare you, try and take 10 or 13 years experience and try and cram it into 2,000 words. Good luck with that. I don't think you'll be able to do that. So this document exists for the mature candidates. Let's take a practical example. I've got 13 years of experience, so now I need to draft my experience into the various reports. 2,000 words is going to go like this, and it's gone in your TERs. So you would never be able to explain properly or translate properly that you are competent in all of the outcomes. So therefore, the TEO exists so that it can make your life easier. And what you basically do, if you've got 13 years experience, you take the first 10 years and you put that in your TEO, right? So 10 or more years experience, that's usually sort of the cutoff date. 10 or more years experience, the 10 goes into your TEOs and the 3 goes into your TERs. So the TEO is a simple document, straightforward, no detail, no mincing your words, no detail, no none of that stuff. You've got your organogram, you put it in because the reviewers would like to see your natural progression from level A to level E. There's a video on that, by the way, the various levels from A to E. So you can go and have a look at that one. Then what you do with that document is you describe your designation. Well, you put your designation down, and then your activities and your input on those projects, and you do it in a bullet point fashion so that you minimize the word count. And that's the existence of the document, to help you to give a window, a dipstick, call it whatever you want to, a quick blink on what you've done in the past that got you to this point. Now, after you've done your TEO for that first 10 years, then you switch over to my second point, which is your training and experience report. Then you start completing your training and experience for that last 3 years. Now, remember, you have to operate on level E for at least a year. My advice, operate on level E for at least 2 to 3 years. Personal opinion, I don't like failures and I don't like surprises. So, TER, then you start completing that. Now, TER is different from your TEO. Now, remember, TEO is only for people with 10 or more years experience. There's people with 15, 20 years experience which find it very valuable. So, with your TER, still organogram, still a quick designation of your position in that project. And this is important. This is where you put the detail. What did you do on the project? What problems did you solve it? How did you solve it? What risk matrix did you use? The detail, the calculations, bring that stuff in. It's valuable. Even handwritten calculations counts, especially for technologists and technicians. Bring it in. Pictures are allowed. Yes, pictures are allowed. So you can put your pictures in there. Just be careful. I think you've got a limit of 52 pages for your full application. Do not overshoot that. Then you illustrate your competencies by talking to the 11 outcomes. Once again, stick to the point, get it done. 2,000 words, go quickly. So, describe your role and responsibilities, talk to the outcomes, highlight the outcomes that you've covered, tell your story. It's a story that they want to see. Don't describe the project, don't describe the outcomes of the project or any of that kind of stuff. They're not interested in it. And also, how do you, if you describe a project, what's your input in that? Nobody's got no idea, so therefore you won't be able to register as a professional. They will defer you. So please don't make those fundamental mistakes. So TEO, if you've got more than 10 years experience, you use that document, and then you use your last 3. It doesn't have to be 3. You can even use 5 years in your training and experience report. This is important. The 2,000 word limit includes the TEO. I'm going to say this again. The TEO plus your TERs may not exceed 2,000 words. Got that? It's not TEO 2,000 words and TER 2,000 words, which is 4,000. No, it is 2,000 words for both of them combined. If you don't use the TEO, then your TER's 2,000 words. Yeah, okay, fine, you can go over that. It's not a train smash, just as long as it's justifiable. Please remember that. Good. Now, let's move over to the third document, the third musketeer, and that's the TES. Now, the TES is a very simple document, no detail, no funny stuff, straightforward, simple. Date project, date start, date end, how many weeks, your designation, and a brief role and responsibilities. Done. Really? Be careful here. I have seen this how many times. The TES, start date, end date, weeks work, add all of that up, and that should balance with the amount of weeks that there are in the year. Very important point. I have had applications where there were too many weeks in a year due to the multiple projects that the candidate work on. Practical example, I'm working on 4 different projects at the same time. If I start adding up all 4 of these projects, I'm going to end up with more weeks in the year than there actually are. And guess what the reviewer is going to say? If you can't even add up the years or the weeks that there are in a year as an engineer, and you want to become a professional engineer and you can't even count, ain't going to happen. So do not make that mistake. So, but then how do you handle that? Easy. There's your 4 projects. Start date on this date. I started with this project. I worked on multiple projects during that time. And then you've got an end date, a start date and an end date. And I'll talk about the periods just now. So you can't add them together. Start date, end date, talk about the 4 projects during that specific start and end date. And then you won't have duplications and you won't have too many weeks during the year when you do your TES. Straightforward document. Just a quick reminder, your periods work like this. Start and end date for a TER would be, I'm talking about the TERs now. The start and end date will be when you have changed jobs, when you've changed companies, when your designation has changed, when your job scope has changed, or when you take, I don't know, study leave or whatever the case might be. That's also a period. Sorry, what? Yes, even if you go on a sabbatical, EXA wants to know about it and they want to know what you did when you were on your sabbatical. Extended leave, training, illness, they want to know about it. COVID's a great example. People lost their jobs during that time and you need to be able to illustrate that in one of your TERs as an example. So remember, that's quite important. So in summary, our 3 musketeers. Number 1, the TEO, specifically designed for the people who has got lots of years of experience, 10 or more. That's usually the rule of thumb, 10 or more years. And then during that time, it's a bullet point document, no detail, no nothing, designation, your role and responsibilities on the project. Keep it simple, keep it short, to the point, show the natural progression from graduation all the way up to when you then start moving into your TERs. If you've got 13, 14, 15 years experience, first 10 TEO, then the next one's into your TER, whether it's 3 or 4 or 5 years, you can do it either way. Then in your TERs, detailed document, this is your selling point, if I can say that. This is your illustration, this is your detail, this is where your pictures come in, your calculations come in, your responsibility levels come in, operating on level E for at least a year, all of those kind of things comes in. do not describe the project. Please do not do that. We cannot, or the reviewers cannot judge what you have done if you describe the project. So your thinking, your story, what did you do, how did you handle the outcomes, how did you satisfy or translate how you managed to satisfy the competency within those 11 outcomes. If you don't know what's 11 outcomes, there's a video on that as well, and I'll refresh it this year again. So that's your TERs, and then your TES. That's literally a summary. Project, start date, end date, week's work, designation, brief role and responsibilities, add up, gives you a total, and there you go. So those are the 3 documents that we tackled now. It's a high-level one. I will take each one of them and go into detail in the future, but this should help you already contextualizing these 3 documents. So don't get confused. TEO, TER, TES. TEO, specific 10 or more years, plus TER may not exceed 2,000 words, except, as I said earlier, if you can justify it. Remember that? TES, there's no limits or anything to it. It's literally just a reflection. Let's call it a dipstick of, okay, here's all my projects. This is what I worked on. These are the weeks that I worked on that. Great. So I hope this helped you quite a bit. And if you've got any queries or problems or you're not sure about anything, please contact me. Remember, we also do support for the candidates during this process. We also review documentation prior to submission to EXA to limit your chances of failure. I don't like failure. So you're more than welcome to submit your documentation to us for review, and we'll come back and give you feedback on that. Obviously, there's a fee involved. I can't do everything for free. So that service exists. If you battle or you're ready to go for the professional interview, I also prep you for that. Questions that they might ask you, how to structure all of those kind of things. Those are very, very important. Thank you for your time. So good luck with your application. So please shout if you need any help.